Love isn't just about grand gestures or romantic words. It's about emotional connection. A healthy relationship requires two people who are open, vulnerable, and willing to invest emotionally. But what happens when one person isn't fully present? Emotional unavailability is one of the biggest challenges in relationships today. You might meet someone who seems interested, spends time with you, and even expresses attraction, but when it comes to deeper emotional intimacy, they shut down. They avoid vulnerability, deflect serious conversations, and keep their guard up, leaving you feeling like you're talking to a wall instead of a real partner. At first, these behaviors might not be obvious. They may still charm you with sweet words, occasional affection, and just enough attention to keep you hooked. But over time, you start noticing a pattern. Whenever you try to get close, they pull away. Whenever you seek emotional depth, they offer shallow responses. You're left wondering if it's just in your head or if they truly care. The truth is, emotional unavailability isn't always intentional, but it's damaging nonetheless. Some people fear intimacy due to past trauma, while others simply don't want a deep connection but won't admit it. Whatever the reason, the impact is the same: frustration, confusion, and heartbreak for the person on the receiving end. That's why it's crucial to recognize the signs early. Instead of investing months or even years in someone who won't ever fully open up, you can identify the red flags before it's too late. In this video, we'll expose bara ways someone reveals they're emotionally unavailable. If you notice these patterns in your relationship, it may be time to reevaluate whether they're capable of giving you the love and commitment you deserve. A strong relationship is built on emotional openness, yet emotionally unavailable people struggle to express their true feelings. Instead of sharing what's on their mind, they keep conversations light, focusing on topics like work, hobbies, or entertainment. While small talk is normal, a relationship cannot thrive on it alone. When you try to have a heartfelt discussion about emotions, they either shut down, change the subject, or make a joke to deflect the seriousness of the conversation. It feels like pulling teeth just to get them to say how they feel, and even then, their answers are vague or dismissive. You might hear phrases like, "I don't know how to put it into words," or "I just don't like talking about feelings." This isn't just about being shy or reserved, it's about avoiding emotional intimacy. Some people struggle with emotional expression due to past traumas, childhood experiences, or fear of vulnerability. However, in a healthy relationship, both partners should work towards being emotionally open. Love requires trust, and trust requires communication. When someone refuses to let you into their inner world, it creates a wall between you. You might start to feel lonely even when you're with them because you never truly know what's going on in their heart and mind. If someone truly loves you, they'll make an effort to share their emotions, even if it's difficult for them. If you constantly feel like you're guessing their emotions or trying to decode their actions instead of hearing how they feel directly, that's a warning sign. A partner who truly values the relationship will recognize the importance of emotional vulnerability and work towards expressing their feelings more openly. A strong relationship isn't about avoiding problems, it's about facing them together. But when someone is emotionally unavailable, they see conflict as something to escape from rather than resolve. Instead of talking things out, they withdraw, ignore you, or change the subject entirely. You might notice that when disagreements arise, they suddenly need peace or go completely silent. It's as if they'd rather pretend the issue doesn't exist than work through it. Some might even use stonewalling as a defense mechanism, giving you the cold shoulder or acting indifferent until you drop the subject. This can be incredibly frustrating because healthy relationships require communication, even when it's uncomfortable. It's normal to have occasional disagreements, but running away from them only creates more tension. If they truly care about the relationship, they will make an effort to work through conflicts instead of avoiding them. Everyone has a history, but emotionally unavailable people act like theirs doesn't exist. When you ask about past relationships, childhood struggles, or painful experiences, they quickly change the subject or give vague, dismissive answers. You might hear things like, I don't like talking about the past, or what's done is done. While some people genuinely prefer to keep certain things private, a complete refusal to open up is a red flag. True emotional connection requires honesty, and if they can't share their past, it might mean they're not ready for real intimacy. Love isn't about perfection, it's about embracing each other's flaws, experiences, and growth. If they constantly hide or dodge conversations about their past, they may be keeping you at a distance emotionally. They keep you at arm's length. Do you feel like you're always chasing them for attention? Do they act distant, even when you're together? If so, they might be keeping you at arm's length, never fully letting you in but never completely pushing you away. Emotionally unavailable people struggle with commitment. They enjoy your presence but resist getting too close. They might show affection one day and then act cold the next, leaving you confused about where you stand. It's exhausting to be in a relationship where you constantly feel like you have to prove your worth. Real love doesn't make you feel like an option, it makes you feel valued, appreciated, and secure. If they keep holding back, it might be time to ask yourself if they're truly capable of giving you the love you deserve. They struggle with empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. It's the foundation of emotional connection. But when someone is emotionally unavailable, they struggle to see things from your perspective. You might notice that when you express sadness, frustration, or excitement, they respond with indifference or even annoyance. Instead of comforting you when you're upset, they might tell you, you're overreacting or it's not a big deal. These dismissive responses can make you feel unheard and unimportant. A loving partner makes an effort to understand your emotions, even if they don't fully relate. They listen, offer support, and validate your feelings. But an emotionally unavailable person lacks this level of emotional responsiveness. They don't intentionally hate you, they just don't know how to engage with emotions deeply. This kind of relationship can feel isolating. Love should be a source of comfort, not confusion. If they consistently fail to acknowledge your emotions, it's a sign they're not fully present in the relationship. They are uncomfortable with intimacy. Emotional unavailability isn't just about words, it's also about actions. If someone avoids physical closeness or struggles with emotional bonding, it's a clear sign they have their walls up. They might hesitate to hold hands, hug, or express affection in public. When you try to have deep conversations, they seem restless or uninterested. Even during moments of vulnerability, they find a way to detach, maybe by making jokes, distracting themselves, or shutting down completely. Real love involves emotional and physical intimacy. It's about feeling safe and connected with each other. If someone constantly avoids these moments, it means they're not ready or willing to build a deep emotional bond. Being with someone emotionally unavailable can be exhausting, but recognizing these signs early can save you from unnecessary pain. The right person will meet you halfway, emotionally and physically, and will want to build a strong, intimate connection with you. When moment, they're showering you with attention and affection, making you feel like you're the most important person in their life. The next, they become distant, cold, or uninterested. This pattern keeps you in a constant state of confusion, never knowing where you truly stand with them. Mixed signals are a classic sign of emotional unavailability. They might say things that make you believe they care about you deeply, but their actions don't always align. Maybe they talk about future plans when they then avoid you the next. They might initiate deep conversations but shut down emotionally when you try to open up. This inconsistency is not accidental. It's often a subconscious defense mechanism. People who are emotionally unavailable fear getting too close, so they create distance whenever things start feeling too real. They want companionship, but they don't want to be fully vulnerable, so they engage in behavior to maintain control. Being in a relationship like this can be emotionally exhausting. You might find yourself constantly questioning their intentions. Do they really care? Or am I just convenient for them? The truth is, love should never leave you feeling uncertain. A person who is truly invested in you won't make you guess how they feel. They'll show it consistently. If you're dealing with someone who gives mixed signals, pay attention to the pattern. Are they only affectionate when it's convenient for them? Do they pull away just when you start feeling emotionally close? If so, they may not be capable of the deep, stable connection you deserve. Independence is an important quality in any relationship. Healthy couples support each other's personal growth and allow space for individuality. But when someone uses independence as a shield to avoid emotional closeness, it becomes a problem. An emotionally unavailable person may insist on keeping everything separate: finances, plans, even their emotions. They might say things like, "I don't like depending on anyone," or "I just need my space," as a way to justify keeping you at a distance. While personal space is necessary, a loving partner knows how to balance independence with emotional intimacy. In a healthy relationship, both partners should feel like they're part of a team. That doesn't mean losing individuality, but it does mean being open to vulnerability and connection. Someone who always prioritizes their independence over your relationship may not be willing to share a deep, committed bond. You may notice that they avoid making joint decisions or keep their daily life separate from yours. They prefer solo activities over shared experiences and rarely consider your feelings when making plans. If you try to express your need for closeness, they might dismiss it by saying, "You're too clingy," or "I just don't do relationships like that." The truth is, love requires a certain level of interdependence. If someone truly cares about you, they'll want to make space for you in their life. They won't view emotional closeness as a burden, but rather as something that enhances the relationship. If you're with someone who constantly keeps you at arm's length and in the guise of independence, it may be time to reconsider whether they're truly capable of the connection you need. Fear of commitment is one of the biggest red flags when it comes to emotional unavailability. If someone truly values you, they won't hesitate to define the relationship and make future plans together. However, when a person is emotionally unavailable, they may avoid commitment at all costs, keeping things casual or uncertain. You might notice that they dodge conversations about exclusivity or plans. They might say things like, "Let's just see where this goes," or "I don't like labels." While it's okay to take things slow, a person who genuinely cares about you will eventually want to build something stable. An emotionally unavailable partner often keeps one foot in and one foot out of the relationship. They enjoy the benefits of companionship without fully investing their heart. This can leave you feeling confused and insecure, constantly questioning where you stand. You might catch yourself justifying their actions, thinking they just need time, but in reality, their hesitation is a sign they aren't emotionally ready to commit. Their fear of commitment may also show in the way they make plans. They avoid discussing a future together, and when you bring it up, they quickly change the subject. If they do agree to plans, they keep things vague or non-committal. You might hear excuses like, I don't know what the future holds, or I am just not ready for anything serious right now. The hard truth is, if someone truly loves you, they'll want to commit to you. They won't leave you in a state of uncertainty or make you feel like an option. If you constantly feel like you're waiting for them to be ready, it may be time to walk away. A real relationship requires mutual effort, and you deserve someone who is excited about a future with you, not someone who is always looking for an exit. When someone truly loves and values you, they naturally want to integrate you into their world. This includes introducing you to their close friends, family, and the people who matter most to them. But when a person is emotionally unavailable, they tend to keep their personal life separate from the relationship. At first, it might seem like they just need time to open up. But if months pass and they still haven't introduced you to anyone significant in their life, it's a red flag. You might notice that they dodge conversations about family or avoid social settings where you could meet their inner circle. If you ask about it, they may brush it off with vague excuses like, I'm just a private person, or I don't like mixing my relationship with my personal life. While some people genuinely take time to open up, there's a big difference between being cautious and being secretive. If they are emotionally invested in you, they'll want you to meet the important people in their life. They'll be excited to show you off and include you in family gatherings, social events, or even casual hangouts with friends. But if they keep you at arm's length and refuse to let you in, it might be because they don't see the relationship as serious, or worse, they're hiding something. Another sign is how they act when you ask about their personal life. Do they give short, generic answers and quickly change the subject? Do they avoid deep conversations about their upbringing, family relationships, or past experiences? A partner who genuinely wants to connect with you will open up over time. But if they constantly put up walls, it's a sign they're not emotionally available. A healthy relationship is built on trust, transparency, and integration into each other's lives. If they keep you separate from their personal world, they're not giving you the full emotional investment you deserve. You shouldn't have to feel like an outsider in your partner's life. True love means sharing, growing, and connecting in all areas, not just in moments of convenience. If they're not willing to let you in, it may be time to ask yourself whether they truly see a future with you. Communication is the foundation of any strong relationship. But when someone is emotionally unavailable, they will do everything they can to avoid deep, meaningful conversations. Instead of opening up about their thoughts, feelings, and concerns, they bury themselves in distractions, whether it's work, social media, video games, or endless scrolling on their phone. At first, you might think they're just busy or preoccupied. But over time, you begin to notice a pattern. Every time you try to have a serious talk, whether it's about the relationship, emotions, or the future, they suddenly become too tired, too stressed, or too busy. They find a way to change the subject, delay the conversation, or act like you're overthinking things. If you bring up concerns, they might dismiss them with a quick response like, not now, or can we talk about this later? But later never comes. One of the biggest red flags is how they react when faced with emotional vulnerability. A loving partner will lean into these conversations, even if they're uncomfortable. But an emotionally unavailable person will avoid them at all costs. They may suddenly become glued to their phone, turn on the TV, or immerse themselves in work to escape the discomfort of a real discussion. Another common tactic is keeping themselves constantly occupied. They might overcommit to work, spend excessive time with friends, or develop an obsession with hobbies that consume all their energy. While it's healthy to have personal interests, using them as a shield to avoid emotional intimacy is a sign that they're not ready to connect on a deeper level. When someone truly values you, they will make time for meaningful conversations. They will listen, open up, and make an effort to build emotional closeness. But if your partner consistently dodges important discussions and fills their time with distractions, it's a clear sign that they're emotionally unavailable. You deserve a relationship where your feelings are acknowledged, your conversations are valued, and your emotional connection is a priority, not something they continuously run from. Being in a relationship should make you feel connected, valued, and emotionally secure. But when someone is emotionally unavailable, you can sit right next to them and still feel completely alone. Their presence is there, but their heart and mind are somewhere else. You might notice that conversations feel. You share your thoughts, experiences, and emotions, but their responses are shared, indifferent, or disengaged. It's as if they're just going through the motions, nodding, giving vague replies, or pretending to listen while their attention drifts elsewhere. You start to feel like you're talking to a wall, craving real interaction but receiving nothing in return. Their body language speaks volumes. They may avoid eye contact, constantly check their phone, or seem preoccupied even when they're sitting right next to you. Physical closeness doesn't always equal emotional closeness, and if someone is emotionally unavailable, their behavior will make you feel the distance, no matter how near they are. Another painful sign is the lack of emotional support. When you're going through a tough time, a loving partner will be there for you, offering comfort and reassurance. But an emotionally unavailable person will remain distant, failing to acknowledge your pain or provide the support you need. They may dismiss your struggles, change the subject, or act as if your emotions are an inconvenience. This creates a deep sense of isolation, making you feel as if your emotions don't matter in the relationship. In social settings, the disconnect becomes even more apparent. They might be physically with you at a dinner, event, or outing, but it feels like they're miles away. They don't engage in meaningful conversation, show interest in your thoughts, or make you feel like a priority. Instead, you're left wondering if they even want to be there at all. Love isn't just about being physically present, it's about being emotionally available and engaged. A truly loving partner makes you feel seen, heard, and valued. If you constantly feel alone in their presence, it's a clear sign that they're emotionally unavailable. You deserve a relationship where you feel connected, cherished, and emotionally fulfilled, not one where you're left longing for a connection that never comes. Emotionally unavailable people struggle with relationships because they have fears, past traumas, or unresolved issues that prevent them from forming genuine connections. Many of them may have grown up in environments where emotional vulnerability was discouraged, leading them to build walls around their feelings. Others may have experienced heartbreak or betrayal, making them hesitant to trust again. Their inability to connect on a deep level often creates a cycle of or unfulfilling relationships. They may crave companionship but feel overwhelmed when true intimacy is required. This internal conflict leads to behaviors like avoidance, inconsistency, and emotional withdrawal. They might engage in relationships but always keep a safe emotional distance, fearing that if they get too close, they'll lose control or get hurt. For some, emotional unavailability is a defense mechanism. They convince themselves that if they don't fully invest in a relationship, they won't experience pain when it ends. However, this mindset also prevents them from experiencing the deep love and emotional security that a fulfilling relationship offers. Without a willingness to change, they continue to repeat the same patterns, leaving behind a trail of confused and heartbroken partners. Walking away from an emotionally unavailable person can be incredibly difficult, especially if you've invested time, love, and effort into the relationship. However, the reality is that no amount of love can force someone to change if they're not ready to open up. You may find yourself constantly trying to prove your worth, hoping that if you're patient enough, they'll finally let you in. But in most cases, this only leads to more frustration, disappointment, and the key to breaking free is accepting that you cannot fix or change someone who refuses to grow emotionally. Instead of chasing after someone who remains emotionally distant, focus on your own. Recognize that you deserve a relationship where you feel emotionally safe, valued, and connected. Setting boundaries is crucial. Once you realize that their lack of emotional availability is not a reflection of your worth, you can start prioritizing your own emotional. Healing from an emotionally unavailable relationship means redirecting your energy toward finding someone who is capable of offering the depth of connection you crave. Attracting an emotionally present partner starts with becoming emotionally whole yourself. Work on set clear standards for what you expect in a relationship and refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Healthy relationships are built on mutual trust, emotional openness, and genuine connection. A partner who is truly present will make an effort to understand you, communicate openly, and prioritize your emotional. When you find someone who is emotionally available, you won't have to question their love or fight for their attention. They will make you feel valued every single day. Emotional unavailability is one of the most frustrating and painful experiences in a relationship. You might feel like you're giving everything, only to receive crumbs in return. You might wonder why they keep pulling away, why they won't open up, or why they make you feel like an outsider in your own relationship. But the truth is, emotional availability isn't something you can force. It's either there or it's not. Let's take a moment to reflect on the Baraki signs of emotional unavailability we've discussed. If you recognize several of these behaviors in someone you're dating, it's a warning sign that they're not ready for a deep and meaningful connection. They struggle to express their emotions, keeping conversations shallow and avoiding vulnerability. Instead of working through conflicts, they shut down or change the subject. They never open up about their past, making it impossible for you to truly understand them. You constantly feel like you're chasing them, trying to break through their walls. They lack empathy, dismissing your emotions or making you feel like your feelings don't matter. They avoid intimacy, whether it's physical closeness or emotional bonding. They send mixed signals, leaving you confused about where you stand. They prioritize independence to the point of avoiding emotional closeness. They resist commitment, refusing to define the relationship or plan for the future. They keep their personal life private, never introducing you to the people who matter most to them. They use distractions to avoid deep conversations, constantly immersing themselves in work, hobbies, or social media. And finally, they make you feel alone. Even when they're physically present, they're emotionally distant. Recognizing these red flags early is crucial because staying in an emotionally unavailable relationship can take a huge toll on your mental health and overall happiness. You deserve a relationship where love is freely given, not something you have to constantly fight for. Love should be open, mutual, and built on trust, not a constant guessing game where you're left wondering how they truly feel about you. If someone is emotionally unavailable, it doesn't necessarily mean they're a bad person. They may have their own past wounds, fears, or unresolved trauma that prevent them from opening up. But that's not your burden to carry. You cannot heal someone who refuses to heal themselves. And the more you try to fix them or prove your worry, the more exhausted and heartbroken you'll become. Instead of settling for a relationship, choose yourself. Walk away from those who keep their hearts closed and find someone who is capable of true emotional intimacy. A real connection doesn't require endless chasing. It flows naturally, without fear or hesitation. The right person will make you feel loved, valued, and emotionally safe. They won't make you question where you stand. They'll communicate openly, respect your emotions, and let you into their world. So don't waste your time on someone who keeps their walls up. Find someone who is ready to love you with an open heart.